dedication.
We're proud to be Quality Pro certified.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, the standard and level of trust.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
As a realtor, it's important who you choose as your title company. May we suggest South Oak Title? Their offices are modern, comfortable, and state-of-the-art. South Oak Title can close transactions in any location in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Their free mobile app allows realtors to deliver a net sheet in seconds. They provide mobile closing services to accommodate buyers and sellers. Their offices are beautifully decorated, state-of-the-art, complete, safe, and secure. South Oak Title, creating a better title and closing experience through technology and tailored service. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. I overdosed on heroin, and I lived. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. My desire to change had finally outweighed my desire to stay the same. I felt powerless for so much of my life. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. For the first time, I finally feel like I'm exactly where I should be, where I want to be.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
So I have a mouse. No big deal.
Actually, mice contaminate food and spread disease.
Daddy, a wasp.
It's too cold for wasps, honey.
Actually, fall is when stinging insects are most aggressive.
So I saw a cockroach. Okay, 3. It's no emergency.
Actually, cockroaches can trigger asthma and spread disease. Household pests are a health threat. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
Go home for Super Bowl 58. WGSX and WVLQ Port St. Joe.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Are you ready?
Okay, let's begin.
Trip. The Afternoon Underdog Trip. Live and local. Inside the Talk House.
Unleash the dragon.
I'm the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on, Northwest Florida? You are now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 right here in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You're in the doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with AG Adam Golf and Caveman Rick. It's not 4 people, it's 3 people. AG is Adam Golf. Adam, how's it going today, man?
Going well, man. Going well. Happy to be back. It's Wednesday, which means I'm here. So excited. A lot going on, even though it's NFL's winding down. Baseball still isn't here yet. College basketball is going, going into the grind of finishing up conference play. So March Madness right around the corner. Ryan back. Tuned in this morning a little bit, and happy to see Ryan back in the seat that you're currently occupying. So kudos to him and his family and everything. And it was a welcome sight. But he brought up the Masters coming back, so we're on the precipice of a lot of really cool stuff happening. So
but we're on the precipice of a lot of cool stuff, good stuff happening in the sports world. But there is nothing like when it's football season, though, because then it's like, all right, prep's just a different animal, man. It is a totally different animal. But wow, you're right, man. We kind of knew, or Ryan had told us that he was going to be coming back Wednesday and coming back today, and man, just seeing him back in the chair, and then being able to run the board for him and hanging out with Jay and stuff. Just a lot of fun on that show this afternoon, and he is in good spirits and did a phenomenal job, man. Just what a true inspiration Ryan Mulvey is. And you can listen to the Inside Drive tomorrow at 11 a.m. And then he's going to be coaching the flag football. I think it's 4th and 5th grade all-star team,
nice.
The blue team. So, yeah, the game is going to be tomorrow night at 6:45. So, y'all get out there, 6:45, Frank Nelson tomorrow night, and support Coach Ryan Mulvey for the all-star team. And we've actually got 4 of our players going to be representing the blue squad in that one.
Let's
so,
go.
it should be a lot of fun, man. Can't wait for that. All-star games are always a lot of fun.
Let's go
Rick.
blue.
Let's go, let's go blue. There you go, man. How you doing today, Caveman Rick?
Doing great, man. Great to be here.
Great to be here. You got a very fancy hat on, man. Looking like Tyrese Halliburton back there.
Yeah, a little something different.
Hey,
switch it up, you know.
I like it, man. I enjoy it. It is National Girls and Women in Sports Day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was trying to think of who my favorite female athlete is of all time. So, or maybe not even of all time, but I'm going to go with, and you guys text in your answers to 850-215-6290 or leave them with us on Facebook and we will read those out for National Girl and Women in Sports Day today. But the first one I got to give to is, she was on our flag football team this year, Elizabeth Peden. She did a phenomenal job this year.
Peden air conditioning?
Not air conditioning.
Okay.
I believe her father is a doctor. Her brother's on the team as well, in Seth. But she had a couple of flag pulls down the stretch, and she is an absolute dog. So my first nomination's got to go to Elizabeth. My second one is going to be from the broadcast booth, and I'm going to go with Beth Mowens. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just poking the bear over there with Caveman Rick. No, I think Jessica Mendoza might be my favorite female broadcaster.
You know what? She's very underrated on those ESPN baseball broadcasts. She doesn't get her just due. Honestly, she's very, very sharp. She knows the game. She may not have played the game at that level, which I think that's where a lot of people, there's a disconnect. Mm-hmm. But like, I enjoy listening to her call games.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's a good call.
And the other one that they have, the other lady that they have, Marley. She might not be with them anymore. I think that there was actually like some type of situation. So Marley Rivera might not be with them anymore.
Doris Burke is probably one of my favorites. I mean, everyone kind of questioned the move from ESPN, moving her behind the mic for NBA games. Mm-hmm. But when you listen to her talk about a game, she is very, very good. She's one of those that it took her a while to get where she was, mm-hmm. but now that she's there, I don't ever see her letting it go.
Yeah. Why should she?
Well, obviously, but right. I'm just saying, like, she's one of those that she's found her niche and she is wearing it smack out, and I love it. So
yeah, I think she's done a great job. And there's a lot of turmoil and a lot of patience that you have to you have to persevere through a lot to get to the top like that. Especially if your name isn't the same last name as someone else who played in the game or whatever. That makes it a little bit easier for you. And to get to the pinnacle, if you will, of what her career path was. Yeah, very, very impressive for Doris Burke. What do you got, Caveman Rick?
My first one, man, Carly Lloyd. She's from a town right next door to mine in New Jersey. She's from Delran Township. I'm from Willingboro Township. It's the same as like Panama City, the Lynn Haven, right next to like the city over, you know. Mm-hmm. And big ups to her, man. Great career, women's world soccer. Playing for the U.S. national team, just big inspiration for a lot of people out there. And like I said, just being kind of local. So, dig that. And, if women are listening, give us a call and tell us what you think.
There you go, man. Yeah. A couple other we got, and there's so many, I'm going to feel bad about not naming all of them, but some of them that we've had here in the building. Henley Haynes, who was a weightlifter. You got Val Solorio, who's just kind of all over the map when it comes to athletics. We've had Lexi Griffin on. How about a big shout out to the coach's daughter herself?
Leanne.
Leanne Schwartzentruber. Emma K. E.K. Eithoven. So a whole bunch of them. And if you guys send them to us, we will shout them out.
Sarah Spain.
Sarah Spain, we had her on. Yeah,
She was track and field, I think, is where she got like her kind of like sports background.
Leanne Herring, Ole Miss Eva. We've had a bunch of them on. So if you guys you got any athletes out there that want a shout out, or you would like to shout them out, what you should do is text them and tell them to start listening, and then text your shout out, and then that way they'll be able to hear it. Or you can always go back to Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter and play the video back there. We're gonna dive into some local score. Oh, my favorite, I want to say my favorite pro athlete, female athlete, or we'll just say female athlete. I'll go with two in two different sports. And one is going to be someone who I didn't really get to watch, but because her brother was my favorite basketball player and she scored 105 points in a single game, Cheryl Miller. And then my second one, because softball or baseball, softball, whichever way you want to look at it, is my favorite sport. Montana Fouts out of Alabama. And last year for her to kind of dig deep through the injuries and continue and persevere on, I got to give her the shout out as well.
Hey, real quick, women in sports too, just because I seen that this morning doing Sports Center last night. It was a rerun, but Linda Cohn from Sports Center. Oh, yeah. Great Sports Center anchor, man. She's big into hockey. She's a goaltender, if I'm not mistaken. Been, like I said, one of the OGs, that's still on Sports Center besides like her and Berman and maybe like Kenny Mayne and who else? Mike Greenberg, just a few guys.
She's been there about 40, I would say 35 years.
Yeah, 35 to 40 years.
I'd say probably 35 years. I mean, ESPN started in 1981. So I want to say she's been there since the early 90s. So it's been at least 30 years.
Yeah.
Wow, man. The combination of her and Stuart Scott was pretty good as well. No doubt about that. Local scores, and again, you can text those to us. Text us any names that you would like us to shout out for National Girl and Women in Sports Day. High school soccer on the girls' side of things. Last night, South Walton shutout PSFAS 7-0. Maclay ends North Bay Haven season. They had a great run, but Maclay will move on in the tournament. They win 2-0 over North Bay Haven. In boys high school soccer, couple of heartbreakers last night. Wakulla does it again, takes down Bay 2-1 in overtime. Well, I guess you would call that extra time, not overtime. So Wakulla gets the win 2-1, and that will end Bay's season. And then PK Young did the same thing to North Bay Haven. 4-0 was the score there. So that'll end Bay and North Bay Haven season. In boys high school basketball, Mosley gets a 7-point win over Childs, 59-52. Graceville beats Bluntstown, 51-36. Port St. Joe all over Weewaw, 65-44. Poplar Springs with a 10-point win over Holmes County, 55-45. Cottondale takes down Malone, 66-58. Niceville in a close one against Tate, just a 2-possession game though, 48-42. Gadsden takes down North Bay Haven, 80-69. Ponce de Leon over Alta, 71-53. Rocky Bayou by a 2-touchdown score over Catholic, 54-40. Franklin beats Wakulla Christian, 66-19. And Shipley beats Vernon 80-31. In JUCO baseball, it was Northwest Florida taking down Lurleen B. Wallace, or we like to call him LBW. Northwest Florida State wins 5-1. In JUCO softball, a few double headers here. Chipola beats Enterprise 2-0. The first score 8-0. The second score 11-5. Coastal Alabama falls to Northwest Florida in 2 games, 9-2 the first, and the second was 17-7. And then Pensacola beats Mississippi Gulf Coast 9-2, and in the second game it was Pensacola over Mississippi Gulf Coast 3-2. It's signing day in our area today, and we do have, not a whole lot of news on signing day in college football. It's underwhelming, to be honest with you, that the early signing day gets all of the coverage, all of that, and we're still kind of there in the midst of college football season, or at least in the midst of bowl season. And then here we are, the week before the week of the Super Bowl and all of that. Not really a whole lot going on in the world of college football. And then with a less than less than fulfilling signing day. Not a whole lot of movement today.
Well, we kind of expected this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But that still doesn't take away from
NIL. There's like a signing day every day.
Yeah,
right,
100%, right? And then of course when coaches leave, they retire, they take another job, they get fired or whatever, then their portal window opens up, so that more madness ensues. So yeah, it's definitely taken away from the awe and specter of what signing day used to be. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we really don't know where these kids are going to be come March.
Yeah.
Come March, it could be open season again. And
it will be open season again,
And so it used to be the old motto was, okay, they committed, now we just need to wait till they signed.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's, okay, well, they've committed. Okay, well, now they've signed. Okay. Are they on the field?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Are they on the field game one playing? Because that's when it really matters to us that, okay, yeah, they're a part of, our respective teams.
And then you go through the year, and then you have to do the whole recruiting process all over again.
You're recruiting your own kids throughout the season. That's absolutely 100%. So
you're going to need a GM now that's going to handle a lot of that kind of stuff, because these coaches, they're getting out of coaching because you're not coaching. You're a recruiter.
Well, and I was talking with Randy about this before we got on the air when I first got to the studio, and I told him, I said, if you all aren't following Rick Pitino on Twitter or X or however
the salary cap,
he is bringing forth ideas to not necessarily fix it, but to try to improve it, and
spark the conversation,
100%. And so you can approve, you can agree, you can disagree, whatever. But there's at least a conversation out there by someone that isn't somebody that's coming from, and no offense, but a directional school in South Alabama, right? This is someone that is a prominent Hall of Fame basketball coach, multiple national titles, multiple Final Fours, and someone that's of that old cloth, right? Krzyzewski's gone. Williams is gone. Boeheim is gone.
Yeah.
All of these
the Mount Rushmore.
Right. That's what I said. Williams is gone. So you've got all of these old hats that are just absolutely retiring, and I think in large part due to what is transpiring in today's college basketball world with the transfer portal, NIL, and whatnot.
Even before that, it was one and done.
Well, yeah, but there's still ways around that, though, right? But with this, there's a continual thing where there's, that sense of entitlement of I'm going to show up and then the next day I'm going to leave because I'm not getting enough playing time. Whereas it used to be, okay, you're not getting enough playing time, work your ass off, get on the court, get on the field, whatever. But the thing that's really disappointing to me is that I'm not seeing a whole lot of coaches come out and back him on this. He seems to be, alone on this hill. Yeah. Right. He's alone on this hill. And I feel, and I know he can't be the only one that has ideas or, a semblance of a plan or a process to try to not fix it, but in a way fix it.
Well, because it is broken, right? If the fans are the ones who, and it is a lot of the fans who are not happy with the way that things are going. And what is the main reason? I don't think that many fans really honestly care about these players making money, and they should be allowed to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. Now, with it being and I'm using the air quotes here, amateur sport, it shouldn't be paid to play. Yeah, there you go. But it should not be, paid to play necessarily. I think what irks the fans, all right, yeah, the one and done is one of those things. But like you said, if in football and baseball, no matter what sport it is, if you cannot look at the roster from 2023 and be like, okay, well, at least I'll know the majority of these guys who are coming back, who are eligible. Like, it's really hard to keep up with your squad and know what it is that you're watching, or at least know what it is who you're watching.
You should be able to project.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's for us as fans. Imagine trying to be a coach trying to keep up with this, right? So, and what Pitino's saying is he's not saying that these players don't deserve to make money off of their likeness, right? But what he's saying is there needs to be some kind of
cap,
rein, right? Rein it in a little bit. And one of the things that, my brother and I talk about all the time, and, growing up, basketball was everything to us. I mean, it was 24/7, 365. And it's not like that anymore. And a large part of it has to do with what we're seeing in this transfer portal, right? Because, as a basketball fan, not just a Louisville fan, even if it was Kentucky, whom I hate, I enjoyed watching these kids mature and grow and get better, right? Because I didn't hate the kids.
Yeah. No, you just hated the blue.
Right. They're fans mainly. But, but, you got to watch kids as freshmen come onto the court and start figuring things out. And then you see that gradual, improvement or regression. But then the sophomore season, you see what, how they've added to their game and what they've done. And then what they start to mean to that program.
Yeah.
Or that, not just that team, but that program. That's huge. And we don't see a whole lot of that anymore. And that's what I miss about it. So maybe I'm old hat. I don't know. But that's where my romanticizing of college basketball has just been depleted.
Either you're old hat and maybe I'm becoming old hat or whatever it is, but I'm right there with you. That is one of the things I think about sports in general, right? When you watch a guy and especially when you have those moments of a guy like, what is this? How did this guy even make it to the league? Let's say for a professional, or how did this guy make it to this level of college basketball? And then in, year 2, you're like, okay, he's starting to do something. Then by year 3, he's become one of your favorite players on the team, not because he's the best player on the team, but because you've been following his story for 3 years, and you're like, man, I remember when you first came, and I'm even scratching my head, how'd you get here? And now all of a sudden, I'm looking up your stats every single night.
It is old hat. I don't want to be a hater, but I agree exactly what you guys are saying. But look at just the attention span people have now. It's instant gratification. Nobody wants to wait for anything, and that's what you're needing is patience if you want to see what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And nobody's got the patience for that now. And so unfortunately, it's probably never going to be that way again. These kids, they just want it now. So I think it's just going to keep going that way, and it's going to get less and less and less of time that these guys are going to be in school.
Well, in what Patino talked about in one of his latest tweets, and something that you have brought up, I don't know if it was an original Davism or not, but it was, he's proposing a 2-year contract.
Yes, that's right? I don't think I heard that from anyone else, but not trying to take credit.
No, right. Well, I'm going to give you credit. How about that? It's a Davism.
I deny the credit again.
But he proposed a 2-year contract, and if you are going to accept whatever funds or Lamborghini or whatever it is, if you're not there for the full 2 years, it's gone.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And there has to be some form of consequence and repercussions.
Yeah.
And there's just not right now.
No, there's not. And I could